Stop for a moment and listen carefully. Something changed today. That new path you feel within isn't a doubt. It's a heavenly confirmation that is becoming reality in your life today. What you're about to hear is the exact answer to what you silently discussed last night. God has charted a new course for you, and today you're going to learn to recognize it. Stay here, because we're going to reveal why you felt separate from the world lately and how that feeling is your greatest protection right now. No beating around the bush, just the truth for your soul. The change you're experiencing isn't a coincidence. You felt something shifting inside you, and today that piece of the puzzle falls into place. We're talking about a profound transformation, one that doesn't ask permission but brings a stability you've never felt before. Write in the comments, "I accept my new path." It's vital that you understand that the burden you felt no longer belongs to you. The divine presence doesn't always arrive with a bang. Often it's that sudden calm that washes over you in the midst of chaos. It's that silent voice that assures you that, even though you can't see the end of the tunnel, your feet are being guided by solid ground. It's important to note that when the heavens decide to intervene, they do so with a precision that leaves us speechless. It's no coincidence that you found this guide just when doubt was trying to take hold. It's divine order acting as a protective shield over your thoughts, filtering out what drains you and leaving only what builds you up. You probably noticed solutions appearing out of nowhere, or words arriving at precisely the right moment. That's spiritual design working in your favor. Don't look for complicated explanations. Accept that you are the object of a higher power seeking your balance and purpose. Write in the comments, "God takes care of my peace." Sometimes we beat ourselves up thinking we're going too slowly, but in the realm of the spirit, speed isn't as important as direction. If today you feel you need to stop and breathe, do it. That pause isn't a waste of time. It's a necessary safeguard so your soul doesn't wear itself out fighting battles you're no longer meant to fight. Your well-being is being protected. You don't need all the answers today, nor a detailed map of the future. You only need the certainty that you are not alone. There's a hand guiding your decisions, leading you away from confusion and toward the serenity you have sought. As someone who is also searching for that light, I tell you with complete conviction, do not fear this current silence. The world is running aimlessly, but you are being guided with a specific purpose. That feeling of being on another frequency is confirmation that you have been set apart to receive something much greater and more authentic. Sometimes we make the mistake of confusing silence with oblivion. We believe that if we're not at the center of the noise or commotion, it's because we've been excluded from the blessings. But stop for a second and consider this. The most precious seeds need time underground, in complete isolation, to strengthen themselves before sprouting into the light. Write in the comments, "My timing is perfect." Your name has not been forgotten. On the contrary, it has been placed on a list of special care. This is not a burden, but a heavenly distinction. You are going through a period of inner preparation, because what is about to manifest in your life requires an unwavering spirit, free from all those distractions that exhaust others today. It's vital to understand that isolation isn't a lack of protection, but rather the most effective way for heaven to safeguard your purpose. When you're removed from the noise, you're not being punished with loneliness. You're being granted the privilege of exclusivity, so that your growth isn't tainted by outside opinions. You may feel a pressure in your chest, a restlessness that your mind tries to label as anxiety. Today I invite you to change that perspective. That inner vibration is your spirit recognizing that something transcendental is taking place. It's a sign that the universe is working in areas of your life that you thought were closed or lost. If you feel this message resonates deep within your soul and you want to continue nurturing your faith, I invite you to subscribe to our channel so we can walk together. If this message is for you today, please like the video and become part of this community of light. Those nights when sleep is interrupted are not for anguish, but rather invitations to reflection. Many fear that their past mistakes have disqualified them, but divine grace has no expiration date. Your process is still active. You've been asked to close the door to external chaos so that you may dwell in a chamber of peace, a refuge designed to protect you from influences that would only erode your emotional well-being. As your brother on this journey, I want to remind you that nothing you've been through has been in vain. Your presence here is proof that your opportunity remains. Sometimes, the greatest act of love we receive from heaven is being prevented from moving in the direction we wanted, to keep us from stumbling over what wasn't good for us. Write in the comments, I am protected. Don't look around to compare yourself to those who seem to be moving faster. Every life has its own season. Your current stage of life is proof that you are a key piece in a much larger and more balanced plan. I encourage you to share this video with someone who feels alone today. You could be the bridge to their peace of mind. While you felt the world was leaving you behind, the divine was dismantling obstacles you didn't even know were there. What you called loneliness was, in reality, the greatest shield ever placed over your life. It wasn't oversight. It was a direct intervention to preserve your purpose. By staying with me for the next few minutes, you will discover how this time of retreat is definitively cleansing your environment. We are only just beginning to uncover the magnitude of what has been prepared for you. Write in the comments, I receive my clarity. Many constantly question what they so insistently needed protection from. The reality is that there are contaminations of the spirit that try to attach themselves to us when we feel most vulnerable. The first and most common is premature exposure. Sometimes opportunities are presented to us that seem to shine brightly, like a project or a life change that appears perfect on the surface, but which, deep down, would have caused us to collapse. Heaven told you, wait. It wasn't a refusal. It was an act of love so that, when the new thing arrives, you have the necessary structure to sustain it without being destroyed. Write in the comments, I trust in divine timing. It's crucial to understand that heaven's no is, in reality, I'm watching over you for something better. We often obsess over what didn't happen, failing to realize that the closed door was a wall that saved us from a disaster we couldn't see from our limited perspective. Spiritual maturity consists of being grateful for both what comes our way and what we are prevented from achieving. Another form of vital protection has been filtering out draining connections. You probably noticed that certain people who claim to have good intentions ended up leaving you without any vital energy. It wasn't abandonment that led them to distance themselves from you. It was a deep cleansing. Those who only sought to feed off your goodwill, without contributing anything to your peace, were removed from your side. Write in the comments, my energy is sacred. You have also been protected from messages that attempt to manipulate your faith. In this world, there are many who use spiritual words to ask for sacrifices or promise magical solutions. Your well-being cannot be bought or negotiated. That discomfort you felt with certain proposals wasn't insecurity. It was your spiritual intuition warning you of danger. You were shielded from those voices so that you might learn to listen only to the truth that comes from a genuine heart. As your brother in this learning process, I ask that you never allow guilt to infect your mind. Those ideas that suggest your suffering is a lack of faith are a mistake. You are in a spiritual incubation chamber. What will be born from you after this retreat will astound even those who thought you had completely given up. Your current strength is a gift that can only be given in silence. Stay strong, because what you are about to discover about the next stages of this process will completely change your vision of tomorrow. We are entering the phase of silent gifts. It's time to talk about what's really happening in that peaceful haven where you find yourself. While the world continues at accelerated pace, a profound renewal is taking place within you. There are abilities being nurtured in your spirit at this very moment, and it's vital that you recognize them so you stop seeing them as mere coincidences. The first of these is clarity of thought. Has it ever happened to you that you suddenly wake up with the solution to a problem that was keeping you awake at night? Perhaps it happens in the early hours of the morning. Your eyes open and, for no apparent reason, everything takes on a new and orderly meaning. This clarity isn't an ordinary mental process. It's a direct dose of wisdom for your current situation. When the external noise fades, the frequency of the heavens becomes crystal clear. Don't ignore these moments of lucidity. They are the precise coordinates for your next step toward stability. The clarity you're experiencing isn't insomnia or lack of rest. It's your mind receiving strategies and perspectives that were previously blocked by the noise of the world. It's a wisdom that doesn't come from books or human logic, but from that direct connection to the divine that can only be achieved when you stop fighting the silence and start listening to it. Write in the comments, my mind is clear. The second ability being installed within you is inner authority. You will notice that your words now carry a different weight, a firmness that doesn't require shouting to be heard or desperate efforts to fit in. When you speak from this newfound confidence, situations that once intimidated you begin to fall into place on their own. Those who previously ignored your presence now feel the respect that emanates from someone who recognizes their identity and their divine purpose. This is not ego. It is a life tool you have been given for this new season. It's fascinating to observe how, when you stop seeking external validation, the heavens grant you an internal validation that no one can take away. This authority isn't about dominating others, but about mastering your own fears so that your light doesn't go out at the first sign of difficulty. It's the mark that you're no longer the same person you were a few months ago. The third is a capacity for purpose. It feels as if a new mantle has been placed upon you, a responsibility that sometimes feels like an inexplicable burden on your shoulders. If you've been feeling that weight lately, don't mistake it for discouragement. It's the weight of your new task. You are carrying with you today capacities you couldn't even imagine 6 months ago. Great figures of faith like Daniel or Moses had to endure long periods of absolute isolation to receive this kind of guidance. The desert wasn't their final destination. It was their intensive training. Write in the comments, "I received my new strength." But be careful, because we must be honest. Sometimes we ourselves are the biggest obstacle to our well-being. Stay with me, because we're going to discover the silent fear that appears just before things get better. There's a hidden fear that few dare name, the fear of stability. You spent so much time struggling in the valley that, subconsciously, you feel more comfortable in hardship than in peace. Doubts assail you like, what if I manage to get well and then lose it? Or what if I'm not able to maintain the serenity? That fear of exposure is real. You're afraid that when the light shines on you, the world will see your scars. But I want to remind you of something fundamental. Your cracks are precisely where the purest light enters. Don't hide from your own improvement for fear of not being perfect. Heaven is preparing you to be authentic, not infallible. Isolation is finishing polishing those fears so you can move forward with your head held high. As a fellow traveler on this path, I confess that admitting our fear of being well is a first step toward true healing. Sometimes it's easier to blame circumstances or others for our delay. But the truth is that managing well-being requires a maturity that can be daunting because the responsibility now rests with us. Don't let that silent fear rob you of your right to live life to the fullest. Managing stability depends not only on your desire, but on being present every day with the conviction that you deserve the peace that is being given to you. There's also a very subtle fear, the fear of what we leave behind. You're plagued by the doubt that, as you move toward well-being, you'll lose the affection of those who only supported you in your pain. Perhaps you fear that your inner circle will feel distant when they see you finally at peace. But listen to this. True stability doesn't isolate you. It positions you perfectly to be of real help to others. Don't let the fear of shining prevent you from becoming the person you were meant to be. Write in the comments, "I'm ready for my new stage." Even historical leaders like Moses experienced this burden. Faced with a great mission, his first reaction was self-doubt. Who am I? He sought excuses in his limitations, but the answer he received changed his story. It didn't depend on his ability, but on the presence that walked beside him. Your current fear doesn't indicate inadequacy. It indicates that you are aware of the sacred value of what you hold in your hands. That humility is the prerequisite for managing your own life well. It's crucial to understand that fear isn't your enemy, but rather an indicator that what's coming is important. Heaven doesn't seek people who feel perfect, but hearts that recognize their need for guidance. When you stop fighting your weaknesses and surrender them, that's when divine power becomes your driving force. Now that we've identified these barriers, get ready, because we're about to activate the final two abilities that are awakening within your spirit right now. Time is about to turn in your favor. The fourth ability that activates within you is a sense of timing. The heavens will grant you astonishing precision. You will know exactly when to move. You will not only have the what, but also the when. You will feel within yourself the certainty that today is the day. You will see how the doors align at the precise moment, without any need to struggle. The fifth ability is the grace of acceleration. This is a force that allows time to work for you. You will see progress in months that would normally take years. It's not about physical exhaustion, but about a synchronicity where time yields to your purpose. Write in the comments, I'm activating my acceleration. For this to flow fully, we must apply what we call the code of mercy. All this potential can be limited if you cling to a past you haven't forgiven. There is a promise of restoration that assures you that what pain or bad choices try to take from you will be returned to you. As a brother who walks with you, I assure you that this restoration is not merely a return to where you started. It is compensation with interest. If you feel you lost years in situations where you weren't valued, heaven not only gives you back that time, but also bestows upon you the wisdom and growth you would have gained along the way. The setback is erased, and you are placed exactly where you belong. Write in the comments, I receive my restoration. Share this message with someone who feels like life has passed them by. Remind them that total renewal is possible when we heal our hearts. We are entering the reset of grace. It is that point where heaven decrees that the consequences of your mistakes no longer have power over your present. Every closed door and every opportunity you thought was lost is being revisited by boundless mercy. The most extraordinary thing about this reset isn't just that your transgressions have been forgiven. It's that the weight of that past has been completely erased, as if it never existed in your celestial record. This isn't simply a clean slate, but a strategic relocation. You're being uprooted from the realm of doubt and placed precisely on the timeline where you would be had you never strayed from your original purpose. From this moment forward, your past failures no longer dictate the pace of your future. Divine intervention has transformed your years of setbacks into months of unstoppable progress. You no longer drag the anchor of regret. Now you carry the momentum of redemption. Write in the comments, my story begins today. Let's talk frankly about what this acceleration means for your daily life. Don't think that things will simply become easy. What's happening is that time is being compressed. What would normally take you a decade to build, the heavens are aligning to manifest in an astonishingly short time. You might be wondering, why didn't this happen sooner? The answer is simple yet profound. Just a few months ago, you were still tied to situations and connections that would have been an unbearable burden on this new pace. Write in the comments, I am free to move forward. As someone who understands the value of processes, I want to tell you that the sky waited for you to release those anchors so you could take flight without anything holding you back. It wasn't an unfair delay. It was a safety measure to prevent you from collapsing under the pressure of the new. This process of spiritual acceleration has 3 stages that you must learn to distinguish. The comprehension. You will feel you absorb more wisdom in a single day than in an entire year. It will be an intense period that will take you out of your comfort zone, but it is essential for forging an unbreakable character. The launch. All that pressure you build up during isolation now becomes the energy that propels you toward places you once thought were unattainable. You'll enter spaces and conversations that previously seemed beyond your reach. The landing. This is where calmness is your best ally. Arriving quickly requires knowing how to manage what you've received. It's not a matter of chance, but the ability you're given to protect what the heavens have placed in your hands. Write in the comments, I know how to manage my blessing. Remember the stories of those who waited a long time, like Sarah or Hannah. Their waiting was not a sign of forgetfulness, but rather preparation for a sudden change that transformed entire generations. Your well-being doesn't end with you. It is a seed designed to bless those who come after you. It is essential that tomorrow, upon waking, you pay attention to your surroundings. You will notice a different atmosphere, an inner certainty that something transcendental is about to manifest. It is not a mere hunch. It is divine timing finally synchronizing with your purpose. Get ready for what's coming next, because we're going to break down how to maintain this accelerating pace without losing the peace you've worked so hard to gain. If this message is invigorating your spirit, remember that joining this community by subscribing is a way to solidify your commitment to this new path. Share this guide with someone who needs to recognize that their waiting period is coming to an end. Like this post if you're certain that what lies ahead far surpasses what you've left behind. Write in the comments, I align myself with my purpose. We're at a definitive turning point. Don't feel like time is running out. On the contrary, you're gaining the necessary traction for your next big leap. I want to talk about aligning your purpose. There are sacred windows of time where the pieces fall into place with pinpoint precision. In the coming days, your task isn't to prepare, because you've already done that in silence. Your task now is to position yourself. Aligning yourself means willingly placing yourself on the path of peace that is already coming toward you. I've seen many people hinder their own well-being by wanting to feel 100% ready before moving forward. But peace isn't a prerequisite for taking a leap of faith. Peace is a reward you find after being courageous. Don't wait to have all the evidence in hand. Genuine faith is what opens the door, not what stands by and watches it open on its own. It's crucial to understand that courage isn't the absence of doubt, but the decision to move forward despite it. If you feel that inner urge to act today, don't ignore it. Heaven doesn't reward perfection. It rewards a willingness of a heart that trusts in the guidance it has received. For this positioning process, I propose a 3-step protocol, simple in form but profound in its spiritual impact. Purification. In this initial phase, you will feel a natural need to cleanse your environment. Stop paying attention to the frequencies that drain your energy. If there are connections that only sow confusion, take a calm but firm step back. Your peace is your priority. The declaration. Speak honestly about your vision, not with just anyone, but with someone who will truly support you. By putting into words a change you've been putting off, you give it shape and reality in the tangible world. Letting go. Take an action that demonstrates you are serious about this new phase of your life. This could be dedicating quality time to someone who needs it or sharing a valuable resource. It's your way of telling life that you trust in the abundance to come and that you are no longer afraid to let go. Write in the comments, "My time is now." As a brother who seeks your growth, I warn you, beware the voice that whispers you need more time. You have spent years preparing yourself in the refuge of silence and in the school of patience. This is not the time to continue studying the map. It is the time to begin walking the territory. This 3-phase pattern has been the driving force behind the greatest stories of spiritual growth. It's a period of renewal where what seems stagnant begins to pulse with new energy. Stay alert, because your determination is the signal the heavens have been waiting for to activate the next level of your well-being. Stay with me for the next few minutes, because we're going to find out exactly what happens when you decide to take that first step and how the environment begins to transform to welcome you. I want to reveal something to you that may have gone unnoticed. During your time of retreat, you believed you were only undergoing a test of physical or emotional endurance, but there were invisible tests that you passed with astonishing excellence. Do you remember that moment of profound disappointment when someone you trusted let you down? You thought the test consisted solely of forgiveness, and you felt frustrated by the lingering pain in your chest. However, what the heavens were watching closely was your integrity. You had every tool at your disposal to retaliate, to speak ill of that person, or to tarnish their image, and you chose not to. You chose silence and healthy distance over revenge. That is a true victory. You decided not to become what hurt you. You passed the test of spiritual maturity because you protected your own light, even when darkness surrounded you. Write in the comments, "My integrity is my shield." There is a third test, which we call the test of inner light. This is perhaps the most demanding of all, because it is the one you overcame when the skies seemed to be completely silent. While you strove not to retaliate against those who hurt you, you continued to seek peace. You continue to trust and maintain your faith, even though the outward results were not immediately visible. Many believe that the key to a fulfilling spiritual life is simply patience, but the true test is gratitude without expectation of answers. It's easy to give thanks when the path is smooth, but you did so when everything seemed to be against you. Like the great figures of faith who maintained their steadfastness in total darkness, you didn't allow circumstances to embitter your spirit. You not only passed this test, but you did so with maturity that now positions you as someone exceptionally prepared for what lies ahead. Write in the comments, "My faith is my strength." As someone who values your journey, I want to tell you that the steadfastness you displayed in secret is what grants you authority in the public sphere today. Do not underestimate the value of the battles you won when no one was watching. Those are the ones that have truly forged a mantle of peace that now covers you. Heaven takes note of your loyalty to spiritual principles, especially when it was difficult for you to uphold them. Now that you're aware of your victory, your environment will likely try to test your newfound resolve. You should be aware of these forms of confrontation, so you're not caught off guard. The first is a priorities test. Just when you decide to focus on your purpose, distractions often appear, attempting to drain your energy and time. This isn't coincidence. It's an attempt to force you back into survival mode and abandon your vision for the future. The strategy in this situation is absolute firmness. Don't back down an inch. When you feel your inner resources are being tested, increase your generosity. Help someone else find their way. This breaks any cycle of limitation and places you in a position of spiritual abundance. Always remember, those who sow well-being reap unshakable stability. The second confrontation is the sabotage of connections. You'll notice that some people who have been close to you for years suddenly become distant or display an attitude you can't quite understand. Stay with me a little longer, because in the next part we'll discover how to handle these sudden distances without losing your center. What seems like rejection is often a last-minute protective measure. Those who have walked beside you for years might suddenly become overly critical. You'll hear phrases like, "I'm telling you this for your own good," or "I just want you to be realistic," but deep down, there's seeds of doubt about your new projects. My advice as a brother is this: don't waste your energy arguing or trying to convince them. Simply acknowledge their feedback and follow the compass of your intuition. Not everyone has the visual capacity to understand the vision that heaven has entrusted exclusively to you. Write in the comments, "My vision is clear." The other form of confrontation is verbal challenge. Someone close to you will question your path of faith and ask when you'll have a real plan. At that moment, observe your internal reaction. If you manage to remain calm without feeling the need to defend yourself, you've already won. Your plan is more real than any human logic because it springs from a piece they haven't yet been able to decipher. Don't let the noise of others cloud your vision. It's crucial to understand that your growth sometimes exposes the stagnation of others. They don't belittle you out of malice, but because of their own discomfort with your progress. Your purpose doesn't require anyone's signature or approval on earth. It has already been sealed by a higher authority. You don't need a seat at its table to know that what you do has eternal value. Write in the comments, "I choose truth over appearance." Be especially wary of what I call the illusion proposal. It's something that seems like the magic answer to all your prayers, a project or a partnership that shines brightly on the outside, but demands that you compromise your values or act with an urgency that keeps you up at night. True well-being will never force you to violate your conscience to achieve it. If you ever convince yourself that something is okay despite your unease, stop. True blessing comes with order, not chaos. As someone who values your integrity, I tell you, don't settle for cheap imitations. What heaven has in store for you is solid and doesn't require moral shortcuts. Your long-term stability depends on the honesty of your actions today. Don't sacrifice your peace for immediate gratification that has no spiritual foundation. Prepare yourself for a complete renewal of your identity. There will be days when you look in the mirror and feel you don't recognize the person you used to be. That feeling of disorientation isn't a loss. It's proof of your transformation. Don't try to salvage old versions of yourself that no longer fit your present. Let the old fade away so the new can flourish freely. If you no longer fit into the same conversations as before, it's because your level of awareness has risen. Your maturity in silence is your greatest credential. When you finally achieve the stability you've been seeking, you'll go through specific phases. The initial impact, it won't always be a smooth process. It's natural to feel a mixture of euphoria with a strange emptiness, as if you've suddenly lost the weight you've carried for years. Write in the comments, "I release all burdens." We're about to reach the conclusion of this message, where we'll reveal how to sustain that peace and prevent old habits from trying to reclaim your newfound territory. What follows is the key to making your victory permanent. The disorientation you're feeling is a natural process. Your emotional system needs time to learn to live without the constant stress that accompanied you for years. It's like when chronic pain suddenly disappears. You keep expecting to return because it's all you knew. Don't panic. Simply allow yourself to adapt to the calm. Soon you'll enter the stabilization phase, where you'll establish new rhythms and relationships that resonate with you until your impossible dream becomes your new normal. Write in the comments, "I'm adapting to my new peace." Remember that to cross over to your well-being, sometimes you have to put your foot in the water before it splits. The transition requires active faith. I know someone who, after years of stagnation, decided to cleanse her environment of draining influences and firmly declare her purpose. In less than 3 months, the opportunities she had so longed for began to find her. It wasn't luck. It was that her inner self was finally ready to receive them. As a brother walking beside you, I ask you to visualize your own victory. Imagine that person entering a place that once intimidated them, with an authority they didn't know they possessed and a wisdom that can't be learned from books. That person is you. Your identity has changed. You are no longer someone waiting for improvement. You're someone already walking in your new reality. Tomorrow, old fears will knock on your door, whispering that you're not ready. It's not real doubt. It's simply the echo of a version of yourself that's leaving forever. Let it go without regrets. Write in the comments, I am the result of my faith. To solidify this definitive change, I propose a 7-day approach for your spirit. Day 1, practice deep silence. Day 2, state your goals aloud to give them shape. Day 3, perform an act of generosity by letting go of something valuable. Day 4, focus on radical gratitude for what you already have. Day 5, complete that small task you've been putting off. Day 6, rest and trust, releasing the desire for control. Day 7, take the first physical step toward your big project. It's crucial to understand that this sequence isn't a ritual. It's the discipline of the soul that knows exactly where it's headed. Right now, the atmosphere around you is different. Doors that have been blocked for years are opening. We're not asking for things to get better. We're acknowledging that your vision is already aligned with the well-being that is rightfully yours. Every tear you shed in the silence of the early morning has been recorded, and today becomes a fuel for your strength. The time of waiting is over. The time of fulfillment has begun. You are being sent to live with a peace that surpasses all human understanding. If this message has uplifted your spirit today, don't forget to subscribe to our community, give it a like, and share this video with 3 people who need to find their light again. Your action allows this hope to multiply. Walk with your head held high. Your time in a refuge is ended because you are now ready to shine with your own light. You are officially in your stage of fulfillment. Retire in peace, knowing that everything, absolutely everything, is in divine order. To you, who have reached this final second, I want to say that the greatest benefit of this message lies not in the words you heard, but in the peace you now feel. You have invested this time in building your inner self, and that is something no one can take away from you. This video has not only been a guide, but also the permission your soul needed to stop suffering and begin to truly live. Today you leave with a spiritual advantage, the certainty that your well-being is not a future promise, but reality that has already begun to manifest in the tranquility with which you now breathe.